Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 137. I snuck back here to CrossFit GSP right after working today, and I walked in and bumped into the Joe DeFranco. I don't know if you guys know him, but he is, God, just tell us everything about you, because there's so many things, I can't even say it yet.
We're just running our CPPS certification, myself and Jim Smith. We have a global certification where we get coaches from all over the world to take our course. We cover everything from the fundamental movement patterns to advanced strength training, speed training, power development, program design, mobility, you name it, anything that encompasses training athletes and building a well-rounded client. We teach it in our course, and we're doing it right here at GSP CrossFit, and we were finishing up, and that's when you walked in.
The coolest thing about that is, like you just said, making well-rounded athletes, which is kind of like the whole thing of what CrossFit kind of aims at. So, I mean, lots of beneficial things that I saw there, and one of the things that really struck home for me was when I saw you start to do Prowler technique. You know, we've done a lot of episodes on here. We haven't really gotten to Prowler technique, and I liked how you made a paradigm or a parallel between when we're trying to fix speed movements and sprinting, and then adding that into being able to slow down those to make those corrections, because you know, people that run real fast, you can't actually see what they're doing, versus slowing it down by making a weighted movement and being able to make those speed corrections. So if we can talk a little bit about that, that'd be super awesome for me.
Cool. So yeah, the sprinting is one aspect of training where you can't really kind of slow it down and train at a lesser percentage, and more namely the acceleration aspect of the sprint, where from that dead stop to the point where you reach your top speed, that's the acceleration aspect of sprinting. That's where 99% of team sports are played. Most short sprints are acceleration, that first 10 to 20 meters. So if I wanted you to practice your acceleration mechanics, we would have to run it at full speed because of the body angle. You want a 45-degree body lean, and the shin angle, and a lot of the things that are involved in accelerating properly. You can only do them if you're running at full speed. I can't tell you to jog 10 yards and let's work on your acceleration mechanics. So unlike a bench press or a squat where we could lower the load, work with 40 or 50% of your max and slow the movement down and really work on technique, you can't slow down acceleration and work on your sprint mechanics. Like you said, I can't yell 10 cues to you in the 2 seconds it takes you to run 10 meters. So a trick that we use, if you want to call it a trick or a training technique, is to perform a Prowler push. While you have your athlete pushing the Prowler, you can make the technical corrections of acceleration at a slower speed. So it's really the only way I know that we could work on the proper body angle and the proper mechanics of accelerating at a slower speed, so we could coach it properly.
So guys, I think what the take-home point in a quick second was to mimic the sprinting position. If we can't do it as fast as we want to do it, we need to load it to slow it down, and we can still get into those same positions.
Exactly.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay.
So, quick technical, we'll give you 2 or 3 of our main technical points. The first thing we're going to actually start with both of our feet back, and now grab about halfway down the sled. And what I want you to do is just bring your feet back a little bit more, and now just drive your hips in. See how the sled's already starting to move, and he didn't even try to push it yet. Now he's not going into hyperextension. His spine is neutral, but we call that the hips in position. That is a great angle to accelerate at, about 45 degrees in relation to the ground. Now I'm going to ask him to punch his right knee forward and just stop for a second.
That was my left.
Or left is fine.
That's all right. I'm Polish. Give me a break.
You'll see that when he's in this angle, the back leg is fully extended. The front leg is at a positive shin angle. So positive shin angle means when your knee is in front of your toe. What that does is, if you think your lower leg as an arrow, the arrow is applying force back into the ground. So now if he drives and pushes, applies force back, that's what's going to propel him forward. All right, so now if you want to kind of keep walking, what we're focusing on is that hips in position. We're going to punch the knee forward of the front leg and then fully extend the back leg. And now he's taking a nice one smooth motion, right, drive back, left, yes. See, now then he can synchronize it all, and I could kind of walk with him and coach him as he's going. But the key points being hips in, that puts you at the greatest angle to develop power. Hips in, knee stays in front of the toe. You don't want to overstride. As soon as your foot lands out in front of your hip, that's the #1 cause of a hamstring pull. It also causes a braking force where you take a step and you kind of jolt yourself back, you're slowing yourself down. So we want the shin in front, the knee in front of the foot. And with each foot strike, you want to fully extend all the way back. And that is a great way to practice that while strengthening the muscles very specifically to the sprinting motion.
So one of the questions that was brought up is, does this make a direct correlation with increasing speed? Or do we do this strictly just to develop mechanics?
For 99% of your athletes, this will directly improve speed. Unless you are an Olympic sprinter, there's more to it than just a sled push or a prowler push, but for 99% of your population, this will help them run with better technique, but it'll also strengthen the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves in a very specific motion to sprinting, which 9 times out of 10 is going to make you run faster.
One last question. I mean, we always try to relate this to the CrossFit athlete. That's kind of what we do a bunch of here. So when I see some of the CrossFit athletes out there in the sled pushes, I'm just going to demonstrate this. So you see them like do this like muted type of step, but it's faster, right? They're like, right? So I wouldn't do that as opposed to slowing my cadence down, but making a full stride for the purpose of competition is what I'm asking. So if I was here, is it better to do that big long stride, or is it better to do these fast feet type of thing?
I prefer the big long stride. It's much more efficient. You will cover more ground. In your head, you're going to feel like you're going slower, but you're covering more ground. You're going from point A to point B faster. You're also going to delay the onset of that lactic acid buildup, because when you're doing all those
less muscle contraction, less onset, or less
cover more ground though.
Exactly right. Less muscle contraction, less energy consumption.
More
cover
efficient.
more ground, more efficient. Oh, that's exactly what we're doing. So we're always trying to optimize function to optimize performance. Joe, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Just one more time. So if you haven't seen Joe or anything like that, he has DeFranco's gym. Trains some of the best athletes in the world. I mean, it's an honor. I mean, just growing up, I read a bunch of his stuff, followed him around, and I actually didn't even know that he was in North Jersey until I moved here myself. And then I was scared to go within like a 10-block radius because I thought like everything was secret there. But turns out he's actually a super cool dude. If you guys haven't seen him, check him out at We
have our new membership site, DeFrancoInsider.com, which is awesome. We got the workout of the month. We have videos in there. Awesome forum with coaches from all over the world. Premium workouts from our NFL guys, WWE guys we train, pro athletes from all over the world, and a video exercise index that is growing daily. So a lot of cool stuff on the DeFranco Insider.
Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate it, guys. See you guys tomorrow.